I went a little crazy in September and bought a lot of books. Hi guys, my name is Ezra and welcome back to my channel. I went a little crazy in September and bought a lot of books. I haven't purchased a lot of books since the pandemic happened, but I've been slowly starting to purchase more again, and I think that's not a good idea. Anyway, I swear that every time I check eBay or Cheap Books or even Amazon, I see something that I like and I just want to purchase them. So I got a total of 24 books in September, some from publishers, some I've actually purchased myself, and some I won in a giveaway. If you're interested in the books I got in September, grab a cup of your favorite drink and let's get started. So let's start with the books that I received from publishers. Some are actually finished copies and I only got one ARC. I believe some of the publishers haven't been making ARCs right now because of the pandemic, so they have been giving away finished copies. I do have finished copies. Majority of the books I got are finished copies, but I have one ARC that I will share with everybody. The first book that I got is Love is a Robe by Lenora Bell. I actually haven't read a Lenora Bell book before, but this is an ARC that Avon graciously gave to me. I love the cover of this book. This has like a blue cover with the striking red hair. I'm really excited. Of course, I also like historicals with robes. The next book that I got is from Forever Romance, and it's called Any Robe Will Do by Bethany Bennett. I believe this is her first book. I remember 2 months ago Estelle was talking about Forever publishing more historical romances because I believe they've been publishing mostly contemporaries and paranormals, and I think contemporaries and romantic suspense. So I'm really happy that they're starting to publish more historical romance. The next book that I got from Forever Romance is The Highland Laird by Amy Jarecki. I have read Amy Jarecki before. I liked her books. I met her at the Historical Romance Retreat a couple of years ago when they held it at Riverside at the Historical Mission Inn. So I'm really excited to read this book. This actually features a heroine who is blind, and this is a brother's best friend romance. Plus, the brother's best friend trope is one of my favorite tropes, so I'm excited to read this. The next book that I got from Grand Central Publishing is Mad Pad: Real Heroines of the Regency by B. Koch. And so B is one of the owners of the Rip Bodice, and the Rip Bodice is in California, in Culver City. I try to go as often as I want to, but I mean, with the pandemic, I've only been there once. So I stopped by and actually purchased a couple books, which I will share today because I did go this month, earlier this month. I received this book from Grand Central Publishing, so I'm really happy that I got this. I've been waiting to read this book. This is nonfiction, and actually it released this month. No, not this month. It released in September, and I'm really excited to start reading this. So the next books that I got, I believe there was a snafu at Harlequin because I received 3 books. Secret Crush Seduction by J.C. Lee. I received 3 books. This book came a couple weeks before this book came, so I'm really excited to read this book. This is actually book 2 in the series, and this is also another brother's best friend trope. The heroine has a crush on her brother's best friend for years, and she's a designer, and her brother's best friend decides to help her, and then they started hooking up. And thank you so much, Harlequin, for giving me 3 books, but I will be, giving them away because I can't keep the 3 books to myself, Anyway, so the next book that I got from Forever Romance is Home for the Holidays by Sarah Richardson. This is a women's fiction book, and it follows 3 Buchanan sisters. They visit their aunt at a small town in Colorado, and of course, drama and secrets and emotions are involved. One of the sisters does have infertility issues, so that might be a trigger warning for readers. That is a trigger warning for me. So I am not sure if I'm going to be reading this book. I will give this away. So just keep an eye out and on my Instagram for the giveaway. The next book that I got from Grand Central Publishing is actually not a romance book. It is Quick and Delicious by Gordon Ramsay. This is a cookbook, which I will probably hand off to my husband because he's the one that cooks. I cannot cook anything. Well, that's wrong. I do know how to cook spaghetti and rice, but other than that, he will probably be the person using this. I actually flipped through the recipes here, and they're supposed to be easy and quick, like in about 30 minutes or so. I will let you know if my husband decides to follow any of the recipes here. My husband and I do have food Instagram. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description box below. We mostly feature Filipino food or Filipino fusion food.
Editing Ezra here, and I'm actually here to report that we taste tested one of the recipes in this cookbook, and we picked the baked pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes. I made the garlic mashed potatoes. I feel so accomplished, and we actually enjoyed it.
Alright, we've come to that part of the video where I'm going to share the books that I purchased myself. I've actually purchased quite a few books. Some of them are rereads, some of them I just wanted to collect, and the others are on my TBR that I haven't read yet. So let's get started. So the first book that I purchased is Deal with the Devil by Kit Rocha, or is it Roca? I think it's Kit Roca. Okay, I'm gonna call them Kit Roca. So Deal with the Devil by Kit Roca, and this is a post-apocalyptic orphan black meets post-apocalyptic Avengers, so I'm absolutely here for this. So I actually purchased this earlier this month when I stopped by at the Ripadas. The next book that I purchased from the Ripadas is Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. This is the sort of spin-off in her All the King's Men duology, because this one features the best friend of the heroine in that duology, and oh my god, this is a second chance childhood sweethearts romance, and I might be biased here because the hero's name is Ezra. This book actually came out a couple months ago, I believe. I'm gonna get the audiobook for this, but because I was at the Ripadas and I can't not purchase this book. So the next books that I have for you are books that I purchased last month for Bookstore Romance Day. I actually purchased it at Inkling's Bookshop. One of my Instagram friends and at Glimpses of My Books, she works there, and I saw her post about it and there was a discount, so I decided to get the books. Plus, the books are also signed by the author. And the reason why I'm sharing it on a September book haul is because even though I purchased it in August, I actually received the books in September, because the second book of the series actually came out in September, and Anne asked me if I wanted to get the books in separate, mailings. I decided to save a box and save postage and told her to ship it together. So the books that I purchased are, first book is Wolfgun Wild by Julia Cross, and the second book in the series, Don't Text and Drive. I've already read both books. I enjoy them. I actually like both books, and I love how these covers look so amazing together. I can't wait for book 3. I can't wait for what the third book cover would be because they are just gorgeous. Guys, if you haven't read this series, I highly recommend it. This second book just came out in September, and it is between an introverted witch and the hero is a legendary Stygorn vampire, and he used to be a Bollywood actor as well. So the next books that I purchased are used books, and they're old school historical romances, and I'm really excited. I've only read one book in this stack, but I will share it with you. So the first book that I have for you is Prisoner of My Desire by Joanna Lindsey. This book I got on eBay, and this book has a gorgeous step back. Look at how gorgeous that is. So, you guys, I know this book is very, very problematic. I've actually read this book and I've read it multiple times, and I do know it is problematic, but I still like it. I really like the plot. I love the romance. So, I don't think I'll say what this book is about because I believe everybody knows about this book, right? It's arguably one of Joanna Lindsey's more popular books. So the next book that I have for you is a book that I actually purchased just because of the step back alone. I do not know anything about this book, never read this book before, but I've heard of the author. The book is called The Conqueror by Brenda Joyce. I love how shiny it is and embossed, so classic, so old school. But check out that step freaking back. It's a 2-pager, peeps, and it features Fabio. I noticed that this model has been in a few of the step backs too, but I don't know who she is. But anyway, we know it's Fabio. And Gigi and I were talking about this step back, and he does look like an 80s heavy metal / hair metal frontman in a band. So I love those type of music. It kind of reminds me of Bret Michaels. But anyway, check that out. So I don't know what this book is about. I'm assuming medieval romance. I can't wait to read this just because of this freaking step back, and I'll let you know what I think. Now the next books that I'm sharing with you are my unicorn finds. I was absolutely ecstatic when I saw these books. They were a little bit pricey, but not too over the top pricey. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know which books these are because I posted them when I got them in the mail. The first book that I have for you is Give Me Tonight by Lisa Kleypas, and look at the cover. Look at the cover. It doesn't have a step back, no step back here, but it has a boring back cover too. But this is set in Texas, so historical romance set in Texas. I believe this does not belong to a series. I haven't read this because this is not available on ebook. I'm so happy that I got a copy of this book. Really, really excited. The other Lisa Kleypas book that I got is another find. Then Came You. Isn't that gorgeous? This cover does have like a painterly feel to it. There is no step back, and the back has that, classic cutout of the cover. I'm really glad that I found a copy of this book. If you don't know already, I am a Lisa Kleypas fan. I've been reading her since I was probably, did I say 12 or 13 maybe? I've been reading her since I was in high school, and I actually posted a video of my Lisa Kleypas collection, which was 40 books. I'm still looking for the other unicorn ones, so I will update you guys when I get a copy of those books. So the last books that I purchased last month are actually Book of the Month books. So I forgot that I subscribed to Book of the Month, stupid me. So when I found out that I was still paying for Book of the Month without checking out the books, I had like 10 credits. So these are the first books that I got with using the 2 extra credits, and I'm gonna give away one of these books. I don't know which one yet, so I'll have to decide. The first book that I got from Book of the Month is The Last Story of Mina Lee by Nancy Ju-Yoon Kim, and I believe this is an Own Voices book. The next book that I have is Cersei by Madeline Miller. This book, I've seen a lot of this book in the last few years or so, and a lot of the romance readers said this is an amazing book. Actually, my BFFs have been telling me that they want to buddy read this book with me. I don't know when we're gonna start buddy reading. So 2 of my best friends who are readers are actually, all 3 of us are in different countries. I'm here in the US, Lerch is in Cambodia, and Shen is actually in the Philippines, in our hometown. So I don't know if our schedules are going to line up so that we can start buddy reading this thing. So the next book that I have is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I absolutely adore the cover of this book. I've seen this book on Instagram a lot. A lot of romance readers said this is a good book, so I can't wait to read this. Alright, so we've reached that part of the video where I'm going to share with you the books that I won in a giveaway. The first books that I got in a giveaway was actually because I won a Bake Crate box. And I won it from Dot Needle on Instagram, and it was actually a full Bake Crate box. And the two books in the Bake Crate box are A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Mila Vane, and the second book, A Touch of Snow and Stones by the same author, Mila Vane. I've heard a lot of great things about this fantasy, medieval fantasy, Viking-ish romance, and the name of the series is A Gathering of Dragons. So I'm getting a lot of medieval Game of Thrones vibes from this books. So I can't wait to read this. I'll probably pick up the audiobook for this because I think reading this will be hard for me. I don't really like reading fantasy unless it's listening to the audio. So I'm excited. Thank you. So the next books that I have are actually books that I did not win a giveaway, but when I purchased those two books at Inkling's bookshop, and actually included two books that I did not order for free. So I'm really happy. It's actually a full duet. So I got two books in the duet. The first one is The Lion Game, and the second book in the duet is The End Game. I believe this is a second chance enemies to lovers romance. So I'm really excited. Plus the covers are so hot. So the covers are orange. They're giving me a lot of autumn vibes. So I think this is perfect to read during autumn. I can't wait. So those are all the books that I read in September. Let me know which books you read, which books you hated, and which books you want me to read first. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for listening. I know I ramble too much sometimes, so I'm so grateful that you stayed this long in the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.